And to delve more into this, let's bring in Datuk Dr. A.T. Kumararaja. Datuk, thanks for joining us. Now, the first question, what were your initial thoughts upon the announcement of the Pemerkasa Plus, Datuk?
I must say I was very surprised in it because actually I was not expecting the PM to make that stimulus call immediately or as on the eve of going into this full lockdown.
No, because we are probably not in the prime of health, but I think we are in a right position. So I think it's a very surprising move, and he has done very well. I mean, he has managed not only says, look, we must put aside $1 billion in terms of increasing our healthcare capacity. So I think that's very, very timely. But it also made sure that the rakyat, the general public, must be taken care of. And I think all those measures, a little bit of back of the envelope calculation I've done yesterday night, I kind of say like minus the $30 billion, which is the moratorium, which is about 500,000 people will benefit from, minus that, actually, there will be about $7.5 billion going into the hands of the public, maybe from that 68 million that goes into all these e-hailing, the bus drivers, the bus passenger drivers, and also if you look at the Grant Khas Prihatin, a very good program which has now gone into the 4th cycle. So this will be the 5th time we are doing it. It's a very successful program. 1 million micro SMEs will benefit from this, 1,500 ringgit, and also the Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat. I think they're doing it twice. So one is in June and one is in September. So that puts about another $4.5 billion. So it's a very good package, I must say.
Now, I think a lot of us are pleasantly surprised by the early announcement prior to even the MCO kickstarting today. Now, there is a difference between a relief and stimulus package. Perhaps, can you help us unpack this? Why is it important for us to know the difference, Datuk?
So that's the thing, right? So I think we have used the word stimulus in a very generic way. So this is the 7th time we're doing it. So this is the 3rd time this year. We started with Pemerkasa, and now Pemerkasa Plus, and then we done it 4 times last year. But primarily, most of these measures are actually relief measures because these are taken during the times of lockdown. So the prime difference between relief and stimulus is at the time of relief, we have the economy activities going down. We have it under induced coma. Yep. And we want just to put some sustenance into the public's hand. Whereas in the stimulus side, we really have very high economic activities. We have investments, we have hiring, we have people domestically or internationally investing in us, and we have very high economic activity. So in many ways, what we are doing now is actually relief. But we hope that a lot of this will have sort of a medium-term advantage in terms of prime starting of economy.
Right, so it's helping us tide over during this period when economy is sort of at a standstill. Now, usually packages of this nature are announced days after the implementation of strict measures. And some view this as a bold move by the Prime Minister in doing this a night before the MCO. Is this indicative of a visionary strategy, or would you term it as something else? Your thoughts, please, Datuk.
I'm not sure whether the word visionary is the right thing to use. But I think the PM has been very pragmatic. And I think the government in that way has been very pragmatic in the way we have approached things, right? So they have said, I mean, this is unprecedented. Where ever in my living memory, I don't remember any government servant taking a pay cut. And it also had a positive effect. I think the news just came out that the government servants themselves, 800,000 of them, have said they will put aside their allowances. And that's in tantamount to another $30 million that goes towards fighting COVID. So it has had a very positive effect. I think the government is trying to manage this. I mean, we are fighting an enemy which is quite invisible to us. But in many ways, I think we are doing it right. I think the rakyat, the people, and also must be together with the government. This is an imposed lockdown, not so much for the government's benefit, but I think for the public's benefit. I think we are in the right direction. The DG of Health is close to begging, if not already pleading, in terms of asking us to stay home, stay safe. And I think with all the healthcare measures that we have, we kind of ease the pressures that is very high on the healthcare resources. So once we ease that, we'll be better able to manage. And as we ramp up the vaccination, I think YB Khairi is doing a great job in terms of coming out with many modalities of how we're going through this vaccination program. It's a work in progress. I think we have done pretty well as a nation.
Now, it's heartening to hear that the community is coming together and people understand what needs to be done. And this is not the first time, we are MCO 3.0 already. We've been here before. Perhaps you can share with us what your hopes and what your thoughts are in this next 14 days, in this strict lockdown. What's your message to Malaysians?
I think as Malaysians, we've been very resilient, and I think we are sure to bounce back. We're not really sure when, but we are sure to bounce back, and the economy will pick up. So we don't really have to, while we just have to manage and sustain this phase, but we'll be back with a bang, and I think we will hit our numbers, whether it's an economic growth, whether it's coming back with social inclusion. I think we are there. We just have to get our resolve right and make sure the resources are conserved, and also keep that right move. And I think the spirits must be kept together, regardless of the political turmoil that might or might not happen. I think we as Malaysians have come together, and I think we should move forward with this.
Thank you, Dato'. Now we're reminding everyone to stay responsible and take care of each other. Kita jaga kita as usual. That was, of course, Dato' A.T. Kumaraja, Secretary General of the Malaysian Associated Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, or MICI. Now, when we come back, Pemerkasa